Hey everyone, Rico Reviews here. It is White Rice Wednesday, which means time for my Survivor recap. So to recap on tonight's Survivor, it starts off with Malolo being the cursed tribe they are. As we can see, they're the greatest tribe ever played, according to Jacob. Michael feels like he's on the bottom, so he goes searching for an immunity idol, hoping to, if that Malolo loses the next immunity challenge, he'll be safe. And Michael does end up finding a hidden immunity idol, so congratulations to Michael on finding an immunity idol. And he actually found the idol from Survivor Micronesia when it was Ozzy's stick idol, or as Eliza puts it, it's just a fucking stick, or just a freaking stick, however she said it. And the paper read that it's been on Ghost Island for 10 years, and it was a fake idol in Micronesia, but now it has the power of any idol. So it's basically a regular hidden immunity idol. So yes, the reward challenge tonight, they had to pull on a rope. This was from last season on Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers. And I actually enjoyed that challenge. They had to pull on a rope and sustain a disc while spelling reward. And the winners get steak and chicken kebabs, and whoever comes in second just gets chicken kebabs. And either one of those rewards sounds great when you're, out there for that many days and have no food. The ones that sat out were Dominic and Laurel. I was still hoping Dominic would have competed in that challenge. But the winner of that tribe also got to choose from... The winner of the reward challenge would get to choose from either tribe who they'd want to send to Ghost Island. And Navidi actually wins the reward, and Yanuya comes in second. And Navidi has a tough decision to make, because they could send somebody from Malolo to Ghost Island, or they could send somebody to Yanuya, which means they wouldn't get to have the kebab reward. And they decide that Ghost Island still has somewhat of a mystery to it, and they want to keep it that way. So they decide to unanimously send Kellen instead of having him go to Rocks. Kellen, compared to her last visit on Ghost Island, she decided to keep her vote because it ended up being most beneficial for her game. Decides to actually play the game because she opened the urn and she had the option to play the game. And the odds are increased because 2 out of the 3 holders had some type of advantage in it. And Kellen opens it up and she wins an advantage that she gets a steal vote, and it's the vote from Survivor Game Changers, that challenge when Michaela was too much of a sourpuss to notice that there was an advantage literally right in front of her, and Sarah picked it up and used that exact vote to vote Michaela out. And I gotta say, that exact moment reminded me of what a badass Sarah Lucina was. She definitely deserved to win Game Changers. But anyway, this advantage doesn't have the power to steal a vote, but it does have the power to have an extra vote, and that might come in handy if Malolo loses again. On the Navidi tribe, Dominic is talking about how Bradley is being an ass, and Bradley is kind of rubbing people the wrong way, and they're starting to get pretty annoyed with him. And Donovan says that, if they lose the next challenge, that Bradley should definitely go home. And Dominic's unsure because he wants to work with Bradley. Bradley's very open with working with him, but does he want to really keep someone along who's that annoying to you and brings down the whole tribe? On the Yanuya tribe, they're enjoying their reward, and Chris is saying that it was good that they won the reward because a bigger muscular guy like him needs to eat. And that kind of brought me back to last season with Cole, how I think it was Ben, and I think it was Ben and Joe had a problem with how much food Cole was eating. So I was definitely getting some Cole Metters flashbacks to last season. And Wendell decides to take that opportunity because, food makes people tired, to go out and search for an idol. And he does find a clue, which actually brings him to finding an immunity idol. I was like so screaming. I was like, oh my gosh. So congrats on Wendell for finding an immunity idol. And this is not just any idol. This is also from the season Micronesia. This is the same idol that Eric decided to give up. Well, no, it's actually not just an idol. It's his immunity necklace. Because as we remember, in Survivor Micronesia, Eric gave up the Black Widow's coven, or whatever they call it. I think that's what they called it, convinced Eric to give up his individual immunity, and they just sent him home like that. And his decision was probably the dumbest move in Survivor history. So, yeah, Wendell has his necklace. So the question is, how's he going to hide that big thing? And what I found also interesting is that the idol that Michael found from Micronesia, every person that has had that idol has been voted out. Eliza used it and she was voted off. Ozzy was then voted out with an idol in his pocket, and then Jason was voted out with an idol in his pocket. So, yeah, hopefully Michael can break the curse there. On the Malolo tribe, Desiree is sick of the bad mojo that's coming from their tribe, and I would be too, sick of losing challenge after challenge after challenge. So they decided to do a Survivor first and burn the Malolo flag to hopefully reverse the curse. The immunity challenge, they had to get on a, let me read my notes here. They had to swim to a platform and race to jump off and get these rings and then throw them onto a moving target. And because you can't sit people out in back-to-back challenges, Dominic and Laurel had to compete. So Chelsea and Jenna sat out in this challenge. And it ended up being Yanuya that won the first immunity. And Malolo actually reversed the curse and won second immunity, sending Navidi to Tribal Council. So that makes things very interesting. I mean, congrats to Malolo for finally winning a challenge, because Malolo tribe is definitely cursed. So on the Navidi tribe, Dominic wants to take the fall. He believes that it was his fault. He was wiped out from swimming, and he's trying to take accountability for losing. And Bradley kind of adds to that, saying, oh, maybe it's all the coffee you drank. And he's really rubbing people the wrong way. And Donathan was performing really well in the reward challenges. He has performed extremely well in the reward challenge. He caused them to win. He was the reason why they won. And even though Navidi lost, Donovan was hitting the tosses. He was doing really well. And he couldn't even enjoy himself because Bradley kept kind of being an ass. I don't know how else to put it. So, let me see here. Dominic is still at a crossroads, wondering if he should get rid of Bradley or not. Because like I mentioned before, he does have a alliance member with him, but he's just rubbing people the wrong way. And Donathan then suggests to get rid of Libby. Now, I could see why they would want to get rid of Libby, because as Morgan pointed out, don't trust the blondes, because Morgan and Libby were in an alliance together, and she blindsided her and voted her out. And with a merge coming, you don't want somebody that's as strategic and manipulative as Libby is. So I could definitely see why they'd want to get rid of Libby, and I also could see why they'd want to get rid of Bradley at this point. And Bradley even pointed out that when Libby smiles, that everybody just caves and falls for whatever she's pitching. And Chelsea tries to reassure Libby that it's still going to be Bradley tonight, and it's still a big toss-up whether it's going to be Libby or Bradley, and they say that it's basically going to come down to the last minute. And at Tribal Council, it's still kind of original Navidi versus original Malolo. But Dominic brings up that, Navidi may possibly want to work with Malolo at this point. And Dominic also brings up the Morgan vote, how this vote has a lot to do with trust going forward. And, Donathan brought it up, and Dominic said that, that still stings. So that's kind of making Libby feel uncomfortable because she is the reason why Morgan was voted out. And Libby says that she did that because she had to remain loyal to her alliance at the time, but didn't she have an alliance with Morgan? And there was also talk about not wanting to start conflict because somebody might be getting on your nerves, but you kind of, as Donathan put it in the episode, kind of let them dig their own grave and not stir conflict, because then if you start stirring conflict, then your life is on the line out there. And it actually ended up being Bradley that got sent home, and he was one of my picks to win, so I was sad to see him go home. From what I was seeing of Bradley this season, I definitely wouldn't have expected him to be pre-merge. I definitely thought he would have at least made the jury. If I was in that position, I definitely would have sucked it up and kept Bradley, because I don't think Bradley is as much as a threat as Libby is going forward, because as Bradley pointed out, that all Libby has to do is smile and everybody, falls for whatever she's saying and gives into her manipulation. So I'm sad to see Bradley go, but the game still goes on, and as the previews show for next week, it is the merge, and congratulations to everybody that's made the merge. It's a huge accomplishment. And it looks like it's going to be an epic showdown between Chris and Dominic. So maybe Chris might get voted out finally. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's Survivor. If you guys want to check out Survivor, it is on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Survivor is on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. on CBS. Until next time, stay regal.